Why is it that sometimes we feel good and then suddenly it changes? And it happens very often.
When we're feeling good, we are being aware, or we're not in our ego, so we're just in the moment, and
right.
and then we go back. What's the word? We default back to our
very good
ego selves.
That's right. I like that. Default back to our ego self. That's exactly it. Mm-hmm. Right. Because we think that's who we are. You see, that's called conditioning. I'm so conditioned to my image, to my past, to who I think I am, that when I feel good, it doesn't last long, because in a short while I'm going to go back to the way I think I am. You see? We do not realize that feeling good is your true nature. Feeling good is who you really are. Yeah. Okay, are there any questions? You all remember the 7 addictions? Yeah.
I was just hoping maybe you could talk a little on fear of vulnerability.
Yes, that's a good one. Yeah. First of all, one of the things that the ego fears the most, absolutely fears it, is afraid of being vulnerable. Okay. For example, I just said the case in point when I went in the group in the middle there. Okay. We feel vulnerable. You know, people laughing at you, or you're making an ass of yourself. You know, there's that fear, okay, feeling vulnerable. But the key point is that when you allow yourself to feel vulnerable, allow yourself to be vulnerable, then you, like the Course in Miracles says, you are invulnerable at that moment. Okay? So vulnerability is love. Because you're innocent, you're allowing, you're forgiving, you're open. You're innocent. You see? That's vulnerability. And then sometimes people fear vulnerability. For example, a child. A child is cute, funny, innocent. And then what do? We shout at the child. Don't do this! The child already has taken the first thought, this is bad. Now he's afraid of doing it again, because he's going to be shouted at, and he becomes vulnerable to anybody correcting him, controlling him. You see? So this is how it happens. We become, so love is being vulnerable. Love is being open. Yeah.
You can't try to be vulnerable.
You cannot try to be vulnerable. No, thank you. No, you cannot try to be vulnerable. You can only become aware that it's okay to be vulnerable. You see? And then, whenever you feel vulnerable, oh, you know, I'm walking naked in the street, you know, you're not going to do it, but just picture it. You see, picture is worth 1,000 words. So you're walking in the street naked, okay? And all of a sudden there's that fear. People are going to look at you, maybe doing this and doing that, whatever, right? So that's the fear of vulnerability. Vulnerability is, the best thing I can think of is being laughed at, or somebody seeing you less than, you see? And to say, yeah, I'm afraid of that. Now let me get in touch with that feeling. Why am I afraid of it? You see, why am I afraid of that feeling? Because inside, that's who I think I am. I think of myself as less than.
Isn't it about control?
It's control. Oh, everything is control, incidentally. The whole ego itself is control.
Yeah.
Personal control. Because the real control is love.
So vulnerability comes when we know we don't have any and it's okay.
Yes. Yeah. But also, I'd like to go back to the word experience. Okay? Always experience that which you fear. Always, always, always. Fear is the greatest lesson you can have. Fear is not wrong, fear is not bad. Fear is showing you where there is no love. That's what fear is showing you. So experience that fear. Vulnerability, being vulnerable, is a great fear. You see, needing to protect yourself, to defend yourself. That comes automatically. But always remember that the moment you feel that need, just get in touch with that need. Gosh, I'm afraid of this. There's a fear here. And just feel that feeling. Feel it in your stomach, in your chest, or whatever you feel it. And it's as you feel it, not the story, the feeling, because everything that you fear exhibits itself in your body. Did you know that? It shows up in your body in one form or another. And when you become very sensitive, you become in touch, all the different sensations in the body. So you get in touch with that feeling and just stay with that feeling. Don't make it wrong, don't make it bad. Just let it burn itself out. And that becomes a healing. Yeah.
I notice, say, with vulnerability, as I start to feel vulnerable, the sense is that the sense of me, the ego sense, is dissolving. Right? Or any fear. So it comes down to the essence of it is that the sense of my identity is dissolving.
That's right.
It's like thinning out and disappearing.
Uh-huh.
And then the mind is pulling back from that, like seeing that and is afraid of dissolving. So it's like death. It's the
Of
death
course.
Of the ego
Yeah.
is approaching.
Yeah.
And that's happening moment by moment.
Moment by moment. The death of the ego. The death of the ego is happening. In fact, all fear is a form of death that we fear. But if you confront every fear, no matter how small, how intangible it is, how insignificant it is, every time you meet a fear head on, you are becoming stronger. And one way to become stronger when you feel a fear, just say, thank you to the fear. Thank you for making me aware that I'm now, not loving, or I'm needing love. Always be grateful for everything. Yeah.
Is confronting by just visualizing the fear enough, or do you have to, in some cases, walk through your fear?
It depends upon what you mean to walk, because it doesn't require too much work. It doesn't require work at all.
But you don't have to physically go through the fear. Meaning to do something that you're afraid of.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like you're afraid of heights and you go on height on purpose.
Yes.
No, not really, no.
Oh.
But if you happen to be going up the elevator, let's say, on a very high or on a ceiling, and you feel the fear, then all of a sudden you feel like in your gut. You see, you look down and you see, oh, that height, wow. Ooh. So at the moment, just take a deep breath and say, oh my goodness, I felt it in my body. Just for a couple of seconds, and then walk away. Never deny anything or fight anything. It doesn't take long, just a couple of seconds. But do not deny something. You see? Do not fight, do not resist it, do not say, my goodness, that was terrible. Oh. You see, you go unconscious. That's what happens, we go unconscious. Remain conscious. That's all that life is asking of you. Always remain aware, always remain conscious of what is. And that very consciousness itself brings you to the heart, not your mind. And that's what expansion of consciousness is, you see? Yeah.
Did you speak of sabotage in that?
No, but most of them are sabotage. It's all sabotage. All addictions are sabotage. Yeah, it's all self-sabotage. It's a different word, but just like the martyr, the self-sabotage, self-destruction, self-sabotage, it's all, yeah. Self-deprecation is self-sabotage. All of it, yeah. And when self-sabotage happens, be grateful that you're aware of it. Okay? Always be grateful for every